wide world.
Mr. Black.
I want you to treat
Mr. Black.
with the same respect you would give me. Now here's...
Mr. Black.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Living on Borrowed Crime, Real Talk with true crime content creators, or as I think I should revise it to true crime documentarians, because content creation sounds so gummy these days with the AI slop and everything going on. But yes, joining me today, once again, Mr. Black. Hello, Mr. Black.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Nice to see you all. Well, I can't see you, but I can connect with you on a spiritual level through this podcast.
And welcome, everybody, to the show. Those of you that have been here before or not, let's do a quick few hellos here for people who have shown up and taken the time. Dom O'Leary, hello. Sunflower Beth, hello. Kathy Ann, good afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. In Latvia, it's 9 p.m. there's about. Noah Sentio, hello. Funtime Bats, hello. Miranda Stone is here. Guys, I don't know if you know about Miranda Stone. And if you don't, because you're new here, let me tell you something about Miranda Stone. Yes, our local queen of the discords, Snortopupus Cuber, hello. John Trioxin, good afternoon. Harley Dad, hello. Yeah, Harley Dad.
Shout out, Harley.
Jay Blizza, good afternoon. Ossan, hello. And anybody I missed, anybody lurking, or anybody in the future, hello. Well, it has been a little bit since the last time we talked, and I'm glad to have you on. Now, something that I know that you've mentioned several times we've talked before, both on and offline, is your passion for the Jonesboro case for various reasons. And as soon as I saw that you posted your new documentary about a week and a half ago or thereabouts, I was like, this is his passion project. This is something I know he's been talking about for a long, long time. And so as soon as I had the opportunity, sat down and watched the whole thing through. Everybody who might not know the details of the Jonesboro case, can you give a quick capsule?
Yeah, so the year is 1998, and you are in Jonesboro, Arkansas. You're in middle school, and the fire alarm goes off while you're in class, and the building is evacuated. Once evacuated, you cannot get back in. The doors shut and lock behind you, and that was to stop, kids from younger kids could have emotions in moments like that where they maybe would run back in the building and put themselves at danger when an actual fire or some kind of evacuation emergency was in play. On this day, it wasn't. The worst place these kids could be was outside those doors in the yards surrounding the school, because that is where gunmen were waiting to shoot them down. And that's exactly what happened.
Except men is kind of not quite appropriate to the situation.
Yeah, and I guess gun boys doesn't sound right either, because the gunmen were 11 and 13 years old. They went to the school, actually. They were actually students of the school. And all of the victims, all of the casualties, the people who are deceased because of these two little boys, were all female. And it looks like that they actually planned it to be around the time that they knew only females would be in that part of the school. So when the rest of the boys would have been in the gym, they would have been in, boys athletics or whatever, wherever the guys would have went. And at that time, in the actual building where the boys had set up, there was only females, except for one guy who was in there for some reason. But he actually caught a bullet himself and survived. But of the victims that were buried, they were all female, including one teacher. So it's pretty horrific case. It was unprecedented in the fact that, it was one of the first, and I think still one of the only, where they sort of lured the students out of the school before,
Yeah, I remember hearing about it when I was a kid, and by that time, being how I was, relatively steeped in true crime elsewise, but that was so. It's such a sinister strategy. And to have children that young be that vicious and brutal and conniving. To set aside the morality for a second, it's a perfect setup. If you want to create your own shooting gallery of innocent people, you can't do much more than driving people out in the sense that they're doing something for their own safety and then taking advantage of that. And just the idea that the mentality, that kind of cruelty and mentality can be possessed by children so young. I mean,
And
yeah, it's
sorry, go ahead.
crazy. No, I'm just babbling.
And to further the sort of to further the darkness of it, I guess you could say, there was another teacher who was shot as well. She still would limp to this day. She happened to be my principal at the time's wife. So because of conflict of interest, she worked at Westside, and our principal worked at Nettleton, where I was in school. I was the same age as the victims. I actually knew one of them. I used to play with Paige Herring when I was growing up. My
Right.
grandmother babysat her. But regardless, this other teacher, Miss Thetford, she was teaching a class at the time, and one of the kids in her class, one of the girls, had gone to the bathroom. And when she came back, she saw Andrew Golden, the 11-year-old gunman, pulling the fire alarm, dressed in camos, and running out of the school. So she said to the teacher, Miss Thetford, when she came in, she said, "Hey," the fire alarm was going off, obviously, at this time. And she said, "Hey, I just saw Andrew Golden pull the fire alarm. He was dressed all in camo, and then he ran out of the building." And Miss Thetford said, "Well, yeah, he's definitely going to be in deep trouble, but we still have to respond regardless,
Right.
So they all, she guided her class outside through the fire doors and out into the openness. And she was literally in the middle of thinking, boy, Andrew, if you did this, you really are going to be in trouble this time. And then the fireworks started.
Right.
And obviously it wasn't fireworks, but that's what it sounded like. So you have to understand these teachers and staff are already confused because there's been no warning of a fire alarm that day.
Right.
No
drill.
one knew. There's no drill. Nothing was scheduled. What's this? So now suddenly they're okay. What's going on? The only time that would happen, where no teachers would even know about it, would be if there's an actual fire.
Right. Exactly.
So they're thinking, safest place to be is outside in case there is a real fire, but it's not a real fire. They were getting fired at. That was what was actually happening. But as that started, you can imagine how they don't know what's going on. You don't know what you need to do or how you need to react because, and to make matters worse, there was also like a shooting range in the vicinity of, out in the woods, far enough away that it wouldn't be damaged to anybody else. But hearing these noises wouldn't have been uncommon. I remember walking out at Craighead Forest, not too awfully far from West Side. And there was a shooting range around there, and you could hear shots going off occasionally when I was growing up, and you just understood that was, practice, So I can't imagine what was going through their minds. And then, watching kids drop around you, because 5 were killed, but I believe a further 10 or 15 were injured, So how does your brain make sense of that?
And especially that era when, we're unfortunately more inured to the idea of school shootings today than we were back in the 90s per se.
Sure.
But yeah, they wouldn't have any context for that. And like you say, the sounds of gunshots going off was an alien. And especially, and then you add to the fact this is small town America. This is the kind of big city problem that you don't hear about happening in small town America. Real quick, Harley Dad says, "Mr. Black, you are the best true crime content creator on YouTube. Keep it up, brother."
He's just saying that because we helped him get a leg. Honestly, that's true. Honestly, a friend of mine ate the hottest chip in the world in order to raise some money for Harley when he was going through some troubles with his leg. And we helped. So he has to say these nice things about me.
Well, Harley Dad, I'm glad you survived the super chip. And
no, he didn't eat the super chip.
Oh, he didn't eat the super chip. Oh,
there was sort of a thing that I would give a certain amount towards the donations for Harley's prosthetic leg, if as long as my friend would eat the hot chip.
I see. I got you.
And we videoed it. We actually had it on video at one stage. So
I feel like I saw that. Did you post that on your YouTube channel at one point?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I think I'm having a memory now. Okay, well, thank you so much, Harley Dad. Appreciate that. Now, as you alluded to, obviously, this is a case close to your heart because it was literally close to your home.
Well,
In
more
the
than that, even
yeah.
there was, sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah.
And more than that, there were so many linking factors. Some linking factors that I only found out, you know, recently, like a week or two ago. But some I knew back then. Like for instance, our mail lady was a lady named Jackie Golden, and she was just the sweetest mail lady ever. She was also, I think, a great aunt to one of my friends, Jennifer. But she was also the house where the boys got the guns from. So that was Andrew Golden's grandmother.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, it's there. There were a lot of it. The teacher who was murdered, Shannon Wright. Her husband Mitch Wright actually would have been friends with my mom, and they would have grown up together and played together when they were young. So when you have a town of 56, 58,000, whatever it was back then, people, yeah, everybody does kind of go through it together, I guess.
Yeah. I was curious. You'd mentioned in a conversation we had that you spent something like 3 months making this documentary, and in the course of that, and by the way, guys, just to let you know, as far as I can tell, and I'm happy to be correct, as far as I can tell, Mr. Black's documentary is the most in-depth and total account of the events and the circumstances surrounding that incident that you can find anywhere. And this, as I've said many times before, Mr. Black's work is, I mean, not to put too much of a shine on Netflix, but this is like broadcast TV level documentary work. So if you haven't heard of the Jonesboro case, you're curious, I can't recommend his documentary more highly. But I was curious, and in the course of making this documentary, you interview multiple people, both directly and peripherally affected by the crime. Did your hometown roots help arrange for those interviews? Because it feels like this is something that a lot of people might not otherwise want to talk about. And what did your origins help to ease those conversations along?
Absolutely, it did. I think there was a certain level of trust I was able to establish. I mean, for instance, you heard an interview from a woman named Brandy Varner. So her sister Brittany Varner was one of the victims that died in the West Side shooting. So when I spoke to her, I mean, the whole way that I was able to get in touch with her was that we share a mutual friend. I didn't know Brandy myself growing up, but my friends Adam and Christian, who were flying out here to Latvia in August for my wedding, were good friends with her, so they were able to connect me. And she was like, it's been 28 years, and this month actually it will be 28 years, and it's time to talk. And a lot of people felt like it's time to talk. A lot of people felt like they weren't allowed to. People who had a right to. Everybody had a right to. If you're from Jonesboro, you had a right to talk about it, but they felt like they were pressured not to. Leave it alone.
How so?
Oh, well,
it was the cultural thing, like, Southern hospitality kind of deal, or something else?
No, not so much. I don't know. I don't think it's so much a Southern thing. It was more like Voldemort. It was something like that. Like this, we do not speak of it. And
okay.
So yeah. So actually, as I initially reached out on a Jonesboro page and was like, hey, I'm making a documentary. I'll be honoring the victims with telling the full story. If anybody, there was a witness on any sides of the tragedy would like to speak to me and feels like, it's time to be able to tell your side of the story, please reach out. And loads of them did. Loads of them. But there were a lot of, people, leave it alone. Who do you think you are? How dare you? And even when I released it, I had a survivor go at me really hard. She wasn't happy. I'm not going to name her name, obviously. She's entitled to feel how she feels, and I get it. It's traumatic. You watched it, and it was traumatic. It was real. But that's the point. And that's what I think that we missed by making it a secret. That's why people know what Columbine is, and they don't know what West Side Middle School is.
It's like
even though they're exactly a year apart, but we were not allowed to speak about it. Like it was, I felt it was very hush hush, and it still is. It really still is. So I got some pretty heavy heat. Yeah.
Was it sort of community shame or something? I mean, the fact that you came along and essentially gave people permission to let it out after so long, it's an interesting sort of psychological condition, I guess, for the community.
Well, that part is definitely old-fashioned, I think. So,
Mhm.
for instance, when I, had, politely debated back a couple replies with someone who sort of said, that you don't need to be doing this. No one needs to do this. It's already been talked about. It's overdone. Let it go.
Mm.
They're sort of one of the points that they sort of brought up was that if these people feel they need to talk about it, then they need to go to therapy. And it's like, well, that's not cool, is it?
Right. And then having to go to therapy is sort of a confession of weakness or lack of strength in your own emotions or something. I gotcha. Okay.
And then, and then the other side of it was, just complete finger pointing and targeting me. So it was like, the survivor that came at me, she was mentioned in the video as someone who had survived. That's about it. But she was like, you're making money off of my name. You're profiting off of the deaths and murders of my friends, and how dare you? And it's like, look, I get how it feels that way, but for me, it's like I haven't profited off of anyone's, tragic downfall or tragic end to their life. I haven't profited off that. YouTube, actually, you know what? YouTube doesn't want to pay you for that stuff.
I was gonna come to that. The results of your work versus YouTube's treatment of it.
Even outside of that, it's like, dude, there was three months was put into surviving false alarms. 3 months. Right. I did everything. There's not anything in there that was done by someone else, except I hired a video guy from my hometown to just go out and shoot some stock footage. I think I paid him $300 for that, and he went out for a couple days and took his drone and got some footage and all that kind of stuff. So that's the rest of it's me. So I look at it like YouTube or wherever the source of the monetary gain stems from, wherever it comes from, I think it is paying me for the time and effort I put in. It's not paying me because someone died or someone got shot in the head. That's absurd. Right. And it feels to me a little like needing a target for the way that something has affected you. But the way I look at it is, if it affected her that way, first of all, she didn't have to watch it. Nobody has to watch it. It's not forced. It's not curriculum in school. You don't have to watch it. But if she did, and she's a survivor, and she did feel that way, then ultimately it's probably a good thing. It probably is doing what it needed to do, because I know I was respectful. And I know I took care with everything that I did, and I tried to get all the details right. So if she felt that way in the end, I think it's probably a good thing, because it means that someone who has no clue about Jonesboro or West Side Middle School tragedy, they're gonna connect to it immediately. And that's part of it, because no one spoke about it, and it was, really not allowed to go too much in detail. Also, the boys were young, and at the time they were treated as kids, so all this created the perfect storm for it just being swept under the rug. Right. And now it's out there, and it's going to be traumatic, especially for those who experienced it. But I also hope that it's traumatic for those who haven't experienced it, that watch it. That's kind of my goal, is that you walk away, because trauma affects you, and you will remember. You'll remember this story now. You remember those victims, and so I have to kind of be secure in those facts. I believe.
Well, that's always the charge against, and I mean, the name of this series is kind of a take on the whole idea, is that, that true crime is just, profiting off of misery and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, there are some outfits out there that do that. That is their only goal. That is their only motivation. Trying to sort the wheat from the chaff, as it were, is what the viewership has to do themselves, as to who they're going to patronize when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, the Jonesboro case, I remember it. I mean, if somebody says Jonesboro, unfortunately, I mean, it's an unfortunate fact that prior to that day, I'd never heard of the town. But anytime I hear that name now, I know immediately what I think of, and it's this incident, which is a tragedy in and of itself. But I've never forgotten it. But I also know that this isn't something that gets talked about. This particular incident doesn't get talked about all that much. But it is emblematic of just how things have evolved in this country when it comes to school shootings and youth violence and that sort of shocks the conscience. And but I had this might be more of a philosophical question, but as I said in previous conversations, you've mentioned this story because of your direct roots to it, and this has been off and on over the last couple of years I've known you. When you spend 3 months on this, when you talk to the victims and the survivors, when you document everything, when you go through those deposition videos and all that, and you finally wrap it up and you upload it and you put it out in the world, what kind of, if you had one, did you have a catharsis? Was there like a weight off your shoulders, like you've gotten this off of your creative, or that need to tell the story? Do you feel like you've detached from it some more now afterwards, or does it just make it more palpable?
It was a little bit more like throwing a grenade into the air and then covering your head.
Okay.
It was a little more like that. So, and I don't mean it was careless, but it's explosive in my hometown. And look, it was divided. I think almost all of the people that I interviewed were happy with their interview, except for one. One wasn't happy. I trimmed her out immediately. But she had said some stuff on social media, and then one of the other survivors had reached out to me and said, this girl's saying this, and I know it's not true. And I looked and read what she had to say, and then I just messaged her, and I was like, I text messaged her, and I was like, hey, you said that I manipulated you into giving the interview, and that you didn't know that this documentary was going to, have the shooters in it, and that if you knew that it was going to be about them, you wouldn't have done it, and that you told me that if it was going to be about them, you wouldn't have done it, and that it was just supposed to be like a memorial video. And I was like, I have all our, communications here, and I never told you any of those things. I told you that we will keep your interview situated to around primarily that day, and you breaking down what you can remember from that day, which is what we did. And like she immediately, recanted and said, oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. I was just misunderstood. I think it was just because it was fresh and I watched it and it brought up the trauma again. And I was like, okay, cool. I understand. No problem. Look, I tell you what, I see you're uncomfortable. How about I just trim your interview out? And she was like, I did it and sent her a screenshot, and she was like, oh, that's so nice of you. So then she went on Facebook and she deleted her post and put up a new post and said, I deleted my previous post because the content creator reached out to me and offered to remove my interview from the video. And I thought that was really nice of him because most people wouldn't do it. And that's how she left it. And I thought, but you still haven't addressed the fact that I didn't manipulate you.
Right.
You've admitted to me now. Anyway, I'm not in the business to have a go at survivors. I get it. And it's whatever. I didn't do that. I didn't mislead or manipulate anyone. I was very straightforward with what it would be about. Anyway, I just trimmed it and all was good. And she was fine then. But the rest of the other 8 or whatever that I interviewed were all 100%. And even ones behind the scenes that helped me, I won't name names, but were very, very, very close to the case. They just didn't want to be in it because they feared this stuff. Now they tell me after, well, this is what we feared. This is what we thought would start circulating. And I dealt with it for nearly 30 years. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I was like, right, okay, I know, I get it, but yeah, it was not a relief to put out. It's still not a relief, but I'm glad that I did it. I don't regret it. I think that everything, it's easy to understand now. And if I hadn't done it, I don't think it would be. The boys' records were expunged because of their age. So other than the initial police report, which I don't think even names their names, you can't obtain anything else. The depositions were only released years later. So, and so there's so much in the documentary as well that's not about the boys. It was about the heroic nature of Jonesboroians or whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it.
no, the impression I got, and even to the extent that you can't separate the boys from the community because they were as much of the community up to that point as everybody else. No, and guys, we don't want to try to reinvent the wheel here, but really, if you haven't already seen the documentary, link to all of Mr. Black's particulars are in the description. Go to his YouTube channel when you have a chance, watch it, and it is a sit, but you take it in pieces if you can, but it's definitely worth it. But yeah, no, the sense I got was, and especially since you painted the picture in those first few minutes of that era, of that community, the radio station you'd listen to, the kind of things that'd be on TV. You mentioned particular things in the neighborhood and in the environs. Yeah, this is a story about a community that had to face something unthinkable. I mean, it just doesn't. It would never have occurred prior to that day. It would never have occurred to anybody, probably in their darkest imagination, that two little kids would think to do something like that, and at all. I mean, it's one of those. Like if somebody prior to that day, if somebody had said, "Hey, what about this scenario?" I'd be like, "That's crazy. This doesn't."
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
That doesn't happen. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. So, in December of 1997, so 2 or 3 months before, 4 months before, I guess, West Side in Stamps, Arkansas, a student had hidden in the bushes across the road, hidden like in the woods across the road from a school, and he took a gun and he started shooting at his fellow classmates and staff that were going into the school building, and he hit a couple of them, but then I believe he was caught and he was fine. Or I believe he was caught and the other two recovered, so there were no casualties. But
okay,
interestingly enough, I started to wonder if maybe
they got inspired.
Maybe they had seen that in the newspaper. Because you would go, well, 13-year-olds and 11-year-olds don't read the newspaper, and it's like, well, I did actually.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait for the funnies, and also there was no internet in these boys' homes, so maybe they did. Maybe it did catch their eye. Maybe it wasn't a paper, but it was just I found that interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad could that have been? I could have been making a documentary on that case, Stamps, Arkansas. But
real quick, Harley Dad, thank you again so much. Most people just don't understand. As content creators, we are just doing the research and putting the info out there. Yeah, the money is nice, but most of us are doing it to bring the monsters to light. That's the ideal. And I appreciate Harley Dad, you, and of course Mr. Black for the intent of your labor. But there is more than enough of slop out there that's just there to make a quick buck or to use somebody else's likeness or something on their own channel. I came across the other day some random body cam channel that used AI to steal the narrator from Explore With Us in telling their story. And it's like, oh, for crying out loud. And
now look, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and also our friend Yurgi over at Misery Machine, she's had her voice stolen.
Mine too.
Oh yeah, it's just, I can't. When do I get mine? Am I not good enough to get my voice stolen? Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, and I mean that's an interesting topic to jump onto as well. I do like this age of AI. I do think it's helpful, but it has to be used correctly. Okay, so for instance, I don't inherently have an issue with the voice cloning, but it depends on what you're using it for. I'll give you an example of how I've used it, and I think it really helped. Okay, so I got the Blue Roland case. That was Arkansas. That was the boy that was found underneath the floorboards. He was 5 years old. His sister passed away. So, and I'll tell you how I think this really helped. So in Arkansas, when the case involves a minor, until the case is closed and, sentenced, done and dusted, they don't release the names. So of the minors, it's very strange but then they'll release it once the case is closed. I find that a little strange. So when I applied for all of the police interviews and things like that, the kids' names weren't in there. So I had these hours of police interviews, and they were mainly audio as well. I had hours of police interviews that I had to go through and try and once you listen to context from the start of all the interviews, you can tell it's either Blue or it's Taylor they're talking about.
Right.
So what I did is, so they interviewed, the mother's father, the granddad of the kids. They interviewed him. And what I did is I sampled his voice right? And every time he said Blue or Taylor, I would take that. And once I sampled his voice and turned it into AI, and it was the same background noises, all that kind of stuff, I was able to take that complete sentence that he said and reprint it basically to have the name Blue in it. And that's the only thing I used it for. I was actually very careful not to spin any emotion on it that might be misconstrued. I was very careful with this. All I wanted to do was really replace those names. And essentially that's what I did. So I did that with Ashley and I did that with the granddad. And it's just little half sentences in there that are swapped out. But here's what I think that did. Why was that necessary? Because in order to feel for a case, in order to understand and empathize, you simply must be able to connect. And when you cannot connect to someone, when there's no name, when there's no name, it's harder to connect to. That's why people aren't so angry at corporations, or they're not angry at them for long, because there's no real person or face to target your ammo towards. Whereas this works the same, only it's with victims. So you need to be able to connect with that face, and a name helps. So I knew without exactly who was being talked about every single time. So I went through every one of them and added those names in, and most of it's pretty seamless. Most of you can't even tell that it's been done. And in the end up, we started a GoFundMe with that video, and the idea was to raise. I thought, let's try $3,000, and this was the Blue Roland case. And then my friend and I went to like Lithuania. We played on the street with amps, and we raised more money, and we put that in. And I agreed to put like the month for Patreon and all the super things that were on the video. And I thought, hopefully at some point we'll hit this $3,000 mark, because that was only like $1,000, Now that video is climbing up towards 14,000 that we've earned for her. And I genuinely don't think that it would have if you wouldn't have heard their names said in the production. So it wasn't against the law at this stage. The names had been released. They just were taken out because whenever the interviews were done, that was the policy. Names. So those censor. They didn't go back and undo the censor. Nope, that's what's in the interviews now. But that's where I think AI can be really helpful, or making your own stock footage to help tell the story. I did a bit of that in the West Side doc as well. But it's when you're spinning a narrative or when you're just reverting to slop. I'll give you an example of that. So I'm scrolling Facebook, and up pops this reel. And it's a little girl, and she's talking, and it's Morgan Nick, an Arkansas girl who went missing in early 90s, I think. She's still missing.
The name sounds familiar,
Young little girl. There's a Morgan Nick Foundation. And this video of her was talking and saying, what happened to me? And that's not the way to do this.
No, that's just creepy in and of itself right there.
Like back in the day, I would animate victims to blink and move slightly to bring them to life. Now I don't. Victims are off the table. I don't do victims anymore. I get it. You don't want to come across a video and then your deceased relative is talking and blinking in it. Well, I didn't do the talking, but
to see them animated in a way that they I get it.
And it's only taking that picture and predicting the movements of that picture in a cinematic way. It's nothing that breaks context or creates a narrative, anything like that. But still, I get it on that one. The rest of the stuff I would, no problem. If I can bring the killer to life somehow, so that you really get a chance to look at this person and you see it more, you connect with it more, I think, So, of course, some people still don't like that, but I don't give a shit, I do the things that I do the way that I do them. And if I really examine it and I think, this is not wrong, then chances are I'm not going to change it,
adding context to a interrogation video of something that was said, it just was taken out, but you're not changing the reality of something. You're not trying to manipulate something that wasn't already there. I remember the first time that I spotted something that really threw me off. There was a Netflix documentary from, I want to say 2 years ago or something, about the Jennifer Pan case. Yeah. You probably know about this. Yeah. So I have seen so much coverage on that case in the years prior to it, that when in the course of that documentary, for those of you that haven't seen it, at certain points they would bring up these photographs of Jennifer Pan in different situations. And I thought to myself, I've seen a lot of material from some really, really thorough true crime content creators when covering this story. I have never seen these photographs. Where did they get these photos? And then I saw one, I forget which one it was, but one of the photographs came up, and I thought to myself, just the way that it was arranged, I'm like, are those AI? And lo and behold, all of these photographs they had of these intimate moments of Jennifer Pan were just AI generated garbage. But they gave no context. They just presented them as though they were like evidence or something.
But not just that. So on that, what was really deeply disturbing about what Netflix did is, and I need to be careful because, you know, I think that I have something coming out on Netflix in the next year.
Okay. Whatever you gotta say. Yeah.
In that specific case, well, look, what's wrong is wrong. And this is what made it really wrong. My understanding is that they didn't just do that. I mean, I'll extend photos in Photoshop, generate or whatever. I've even taken, I'm just talking about a suspect that when he was younger, but I don't have a younger image to use of him, so I will age digress an image of him to use for that purpose. That's not going to change the narrative of the story at all, right? It's not adding anything or taking away anything. You're not going to come away and it's just going to keep you focused, you know?
Right.
What Netflix did, to my understanding, was that they put smiles on her face where there weren't.
Yes.
So in this image where she wasn't smiling, and this was after, you know, the crime had taken place or whatever, and they have this image that they made her smile in with Face App or whatever, and it's like, that's not okay, dude.
No.
Not okay.
No, my understanding of her as a person was she was very introverted. She was not a happy kid. She was, you know, because of various things. And so when I saw photographs of her like smiling and having a social time and everything like that, I mean, I was like, that doesn't seem to fit everything I've been told about this girl to begin with. But at the same time, I was like, maybe they got access to somebody's private photos. But then one of those, it's one of those things where, you know, these days, and it's getting harder and harder as time goes on, you could tell that this was not a real photograph. And so I was like, that's not right. And that's one of the things that is really bugging me these days about a lot of true crime these days comes out as it's a body cam video with little to no narration, or it's got AI subtitles that are completely misspelled, and then that's the video. It reminds me of the bad old days just after Jim Can't Swim became popular, and you had all of these Jim impersonators who were just putting out interrogation footage, maybe bookended with some Wikipedia level context, and then that was the video. No analysis, no thought put into it, no sense that you're like actually looking at the work of a person. It's just bleh. And YouTube says that they're doing something to try to filter out this stuff or to get rid of the slop and so on. But real quick, Harley Dad, thank you again. It's amazing that a hillbilly from Arkansas is out here doing God's work. Also nice to meet you, Scribe. I subbed you up. Thank you so much, Harley Dad. Appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you, Harley Dad.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's very generous of you. Oh, by the way, before I forget, guys, real quick, at the top of the chat box, guys, I forgot to mention, I got a donation link up there to the National Center for Victims of Crime. Please take a look at that if you have the opportunity. If you can donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. So thank you ahead of time for that. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting place we're at right now with content in general, especially in true crime. There's a lot of times I look at a channel and maybe there's a channel that can upload body cam interrogation footage and they can upload it, and within a week and a half they've got 8 million views, and it's like, should I just jump and cut all the
I know, right? I know. I need to open up a daycare center in Minnesota or something.
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing working for a living anyway?
So yeah, but ultimately the thought is just a thought, and it's not anything that I actually intend on doing. I fully intend to keep making the productions the way I make them, and I think the people that watch them are the greatest people. My followers, they're just the greatest followers that anyone can have. So it's like they are what matter. And look, I've tried things. You've seen me try things. Yes. I'm not afraid to try something new. I've got something new on my channel right now that I've tried. It didn't work. The views didn't go. that's what it is. It's no big deal. On to the next one. You know, for me, it's not. For me, one fail is not going to make me change everything. Surviving false alarms. YouTube is suppressing it. Doesn't matter.
I know.
I'm on to the next one now. I'm working on.
Do you get any notification about that? Do they tell you something about, like, has it been suppressed, or they give you like some kind of notification? This has been 18-year-old or whatever because of the subject.
Nope. So it hasn't even been limited. It's not even yellow. For those that don't know, YouTube will give you either red, yellow, or green whenever you upload a video that is, when you're in the partner program. So
right, see if it's monetizable. It'll tell you what its status is. Yeah.
So green essentially means it's suitable for all ads, and yellow means it's limited or no ads, and then red is no ads. And now, the further down you fall on those lights, if you're in the yellow or the red, you can also trust assured that most of the time the algorithm is not going to push your content either. So I've had videos that were doing great, and then maybe 2 weeks later, YouTube found something in them they didn't like, and they hit it for yellow. I actually just have one on OneCrimeTV now that's yellow. The calling, forget the name of the documentary now. Calling Alyssa, I think it was, and got up to about 500,000 views, and YouTube just went bing, yellow, and from then I don't think it has gotten another 2,000 or 3,000 views. So it was steadily climbing until that moment, and that's exactly what happened. So it kills not just the revenue, but it kills the reach of the video whenever you're yellow or red. And now, not always. Sometimes you can get yellow and it still can go, but it's very rare. Most of the time,
does this also kill the ambition of the people that they're supposed to be bringing in? Because, like you say, and don't get me wrong, there's some body cam. Like one of the channels I always go to is Police Activity. Police Activity has been doing body cam footage for years and years and years before the AI stuff, and they put out some fresh stuff, and it's really topical, and they don't make any bones. This isn't a documentary channel. This is basically just a archive of body cam footage of police activities and things. But I mean, for, like you say, 3 months of work to conceivably contribute to the landscape that is YouTube versus someone that just downloads a video or gets a video on a DVD from a police station and uploads it. 5 million views versus 14,000 or 20,000 or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know if there's a solution to this, but I tell you what, it really feels like it feels punitive. And just me as an observer. I mean, I don't even do true crime, but just as a fan and an observer of this, I'm like, not necessarily because of the money or something, but you should be rewarded in the exposure of something that is this close to you and you're so passionate about, and you've done so much work to make presentable on a level that is, like I say, broadcast TV level, and just it's nuts to me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just, look, I did reach out to YouTube, to my YouTube agent, and discussed it on this specific documentary, and they said that there was no suppression on it. But the fact is that, I put up a collab then straight after it with Annie from 10 to Life, Annie Elise, and that video had 4,000 hours of watch time when it passed the Surviving False Alarms documentary, and Surviving False Alarms had 16.5 thousand hours of watch time. It had double the engagement, I think, at the time. And yeah, it's just, you can see in the analytics that it's not being recommended. You can see that it hasn't been recommended. It shows it in the analytics. Yeah. But anyone who's seen it has, rave reports about it. So the comments are great. The engagement's great. The size of the comments are great. But a lot of the comments, even in YouTube's own AI comment analysis, it said a significant amount of people are expressing annoyance with the algorithm for not recommending them the video, and not being notified, and not knowing the video was even uploaded. So they definitely are suppressing it, even though it's green. And I did speak to another friend of mine at Law and Crime who said, you've got the words school shooting and mass shooting in your description and in your tags. Get rid of them, because YouTube will nuke the reach because of it. So
Yeah, you can't even be accurate about what you're talking about without getting
yeah.
punished for it. That's just silly. Well, that's a good segue because I wanted to also talk about just how much of a machine you've been over the last 2 weeks in putting stuff out as a producer, both directly and with the Dark Chapters series that you just started with Annalise. I was curious how your collaboration started with her, and what the outlook is for this project.
There's only one more episode of these, and so let's just be totally honest about them. So Dark Chapters, I produced them. Annie's the front woman in them, and we did them a couple years ago. So
Oh,
they were released on her channel, and obviously I couldn't do anything in true crime once the long crime thing was going on
right,
until that contract period passed.
right.
So once that was done, I started OneCrime TV. I started looking at them again, and I thought, man, these were pretty fun. They were pretty good. It would be nice to put these three out on my channel. So I did, and the first one got a lot of love. The second one, it's got a lot of hate. I mean, there's no, it's not a lot, but and it's not hate. I mean, it's just people genuinely, speaking their mind about they would rather see me on my channel and not Annie. Look, some people don't appreciate Annie's style and here's the thing, right? Here's the interesting thing. So when we put them out on her channel, they did great. Like, but you still had these people in the comments going, it's different, don't like it. Okay? Just because it's different. Just because it wasn't what they came to see. So it wasn't her talking head normal thing, and there were people who just didn't like it. And there's going to be people like that on my channel as well. But I will still put out this third one. I think they're good episodes, and I think there's people out there that want to see them. And if you don't, you can skip it. I'm not offended by that. Annie's not offended by that. But in terms of how I came to work with Annie, it actually stemmed back to the Lily Peters case. So when I covered the Lily Peters case, I think I was the first to cover it, at least in any kind of depth. It was like 3 days old. I was contacted by somebody from the town, so I had kind of some insider information. And when I put out my video, next thing I know, a few weeks later, people were messaging me going, you were mentioned in court at the Lily Peters trial. I was like, oh shit.
Whoa.
And I rushed to go watch it, and I watched 10 to Life. Annie was covering it, and in this video she was breaking down the updates on the case and how the accused, the cousin, his lawyer was having a big go at me. And now at the time there was no AI back then, it was just, but he thought it might have been like some kind of computer generated. And I remember laughing and thinking,
you're a Russian bot.
I thought AI, you think AI did that? Like there's so much work in that.
Yeah,
AI
no kidding.
couldn't do that. Now it could, back then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Back then it was Will Smith eating spaghetti and the Rocks eating rocks.
Yeah.
And if even, so I noticed that Annie Elise was really having my back and really defending me. And I was like, thank God, because she was I'd never heard of her, but she was like much bigger than me at the time. And it still is, obviously. Yeah, but I was like, woo, at least somebody, because I thought, man, there's going to be like a bandwagon of people going, this is why YouTubers should stay out of true crime. And of course, everything was fine. The lawyer made a big fuss about it. He contacted Long Crime. They had their upload of the documentary pulled down. It had hit 1 million views at that stage, and they had that pulled down. Well, they pulled it down because they were just a little bit worried about. But the crazy thing is that a week later or 2 weeks later, they were back in court, and now the police department and the judges and the prosecutor had all had a chance to review my video, and they're looking at him going, "Hey, you're talking shit. This is ridiculous. There's nothing in there that wasn't public information." And the guy had tried to say that, like, I had somehow, maybe, I don't know if it was I had hacked the police station, but somehow had gotten stuff that hadn't been released that he wasn't even aware of. And I thought, well, some of those clips were on the news. So if you didn't know about them, you're not a very good defender.
Attorney.
but basically the judge and the rest of them set him in his place and was like, next time you come with bogus claims like this, you need to be 100% sure that you're real. And of course he apologized and dropped it, but he was, but I will always protect my client and I'll always go whatever. And I just was doing what's best for my, you were stalling or trying something. He was trying to pull a move there, but it didn't work. And then he was so annoyed that I had animated his client. That was out of line. That the picture of his client blinked and slightly moved. That was out of line. It shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I was going to prejudice the jury.
I turned his client into a cartoon. That's what it was. Specifically, he said that.
Did Law and Crime reinstate the video after the judge?
No, and everything changed with how I worked with Law and Crime after that too because of him. Okay. Even when it was dropped and everything was fine, it still changed everything. Now I had to get script approvals. They had to go through 3 or 4 people for my scripts. This led to the downfall of this Disturbing Truth because I was like, I'm not going through all this. I'm not having a lawyer and this person and that person, that production manager, all looking at my scripts before I record. And then when I record, they might go back through and go, hey, re-record this. That's what was happening. And, and I was like, I'm not doing this. There was no problem before. We've had no issues. This is the only issue. And it's turned out to be false. So I couldn't understand why I was having to do. But anyway, that all changed. But once it was clear, once I was safe, I made another video where I came out and I had to go against the attorney. I had to put out a video and had to go against him. And I said, and for the record, I never turned your client into a cartoon, but now I have, and I turned his client into a cartoon. And I said, and just so he's not lonely, I turned you into a cartoon as well. So, Annie was probably going for fuck's sake, but nothing more came of it, and the video was never reinstated. But it did stay on the Disturbing Truth channel, and it's still on there, and they own it. So,
yeah.
But look, that's by no means they have to cover their back. I still get along very well with Law and Crime. Pardon me. They host my videos as well, and any advice I need, I really don't have a bad word to say about them, honestly. Yeah. And same as Annie. Look, I know that Annie, Elise, and me have completely different styles, and I get it. Most people don't want to come to my channel and hear her, like most people don't want to come to her channel and hear me. That's true. But for one more episode, you're going to hear her, and that's just all there is. And then we'll move on. We're on to the next thing. We're on to the back to the next case that is exactly the way people love it. So I think that creators should feel, a little more compelled to experiment with things like that. And like I said, if it doesn't go the way you want it to go, you move back.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you've got your now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first entry into the Recently Criminal series on more happening now type cases or something that's going on that are a bit more off the cuff.
Absolutely. So this is like, I'd spoken with Annie. She does a lot of shorts and they do really well for her. And I want to do them because you're supposed to, but I just don't do them. I just don't want to do shorts. I don't like short form content. I've recommended that YouTube not show me any. I think shorts are for shitting. If that's maybe crude to say, for the toilet. You're sitting on the toilet. I get it. It makes sense, But I still like long form content. But I thought, wouldn't it be great to have like little newsy type segments that segue away from like having a full production, and it's me on camera talking about a specific case and my thoughts on it. So Recently Criminal. It's actually not the first episode, believe it or not. Okay. There's a whole channel called Recently Criminal.
Oh.
But I thought I would try it out on OneCrime TV and see how it goes. It didn't go that well. It didn't go bad. It didn't go bad, but it didn't shoot off. It didn't shoot off in the algorithm. And I think the home for that type of content may still be on the Recently Criminal.
Yeah, it reminds me of like CoffeeZilla has his main channel, and he has Voidzilla where he does like not produced but just sort of like commentary things on financial crimes and things. He's got two pipelines, and they're their own thing. And I've always wondered if what's the better strategy if you have different kinds of content? Do you put them all into one channel as a variety hour, or is it better to just slot them into each individual cubbyhole or something? I've always maintained one channel, but I've always had multiple different series or themes on things. Like should this be its own channel? Should Living on Borrowed Crime be its own channel? I don't know. I still, even after nearly 10 years on here, I still don't understand all the ins and outs of what YouTube will and will not reward, and not necessarily with money, but just with exposure, because I still haven't gotten that mastered.
It's interesting for me as well. Now, one of the things that I've been researching and finding out more about is it seems like a fact now that YouTube has shifted its algorithm and they've shifted the homepage. So what you're seeing now, there's a YouTube video out. I can't remember the name of the person, but I have the link. And he goes through, this was just in January or February that he went through this, and he found collapsing and rising trends in this kind of sort of market of YouTube metrics. And it looks like, yeah, they switched an algorithm, and it now seems to be not recommending older content anymore. It's sticking to newer content, and it's heavily pushing shorts on the main page. So before, you used to go on the main page, and your first thing you would always see would be the long form content, and now they're not.
Yeah.
And it's affecting everyone. A lot of big creators are screaming about it. They're not happy, and rightfully so. I don't know how they're gonna manage to like monetize effectively these shorts and reels. I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I tend to stay away from them. I mean, once in a blue moon, I might, if I haven't already silenced the short section on my page, maybe something will catch my eye that is relevant to me for a moment. But every time I watch one of those things, I just think to myself, I am destroying my my attention span. Every single time I watch one of these things, my attention span is being winnowed down to a speck, and I'm doing it to myself, and I need to stop. It's cotton candy, it's fluff, and sometimes, sure, you want some brainless whatever, put something on in the background, but a short, I need something that's got a little bit more heft to it that I can actually, even if I just have it in the background, it's got to be something that's at least engaging to some extent.
Well, look, I think it's also with long form content, there's sort of a slow release stream of dopamine where shorts, it's just a big blast every time you swipe up, a big blast, a big blast, a big blast. And then, I have a friend who is addicted to shorts, and he knows it. And he's like, dude, after I sit for an hour and a half on shorts, and then when I get up, I feel drained, like I'm coming down from drugs. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. And in the realm of true crime, I mean, not to get too preachy on it, but a short on a true crime story literally trivializes the situation. I mean, if it's a news update, like the verdict in the blah, blah, blah case is this or something, and that's all that there is, okay, maybe for whatever. But if you're actually trying to encapsulate a story or give as much respect as possible to the circumstances, you don't do it in a little brief snippet thing. It's like,
I think what you risk as well too is I'm a long form channel, so guys like myself or Matt Orchard, let's say, we would risk
Matt.
Matt's great. We would risk bringing in people who would just maybe kill our view statistics because they're used to shorts, and they may come in and start one of ours, and instead of watching 20% of the video, they watch 1%, and they click off.
Right.
And they do several videos, and I don't know, man. I just don't think shorts are the way for me.
No, they're breeding an audience that has an expectation of instant gratification without any kind of contemplation. And when you start promoting that, when you start rewarding that, I mean, TikTok, Instagram, shorts, it's killing deep thinking. Not to sound too high and mighty about it, but like I say, I notice my attention span dying. I watch things because I want to learn something. I want to consider something. The stuff I do on my channel, sometimes it goes on a long time. It's because I'm trying to put some thought into it. I don't want to just have some kind of like Mickey Mouse McDonald's packaged little meal, and then it's gone, and then it's like empty calories.
Well,
it doesn't feel right.
I've considered like so my intros for Disturbing Truth, and started doing them again on OneCrime. my intros were always roughly a minute long, and I've kind of thought maybe obviously I'm in two minds about it, but I've kind of thought maybe I should cut them off of the main video and turn them into a short because they're a minute long,
Like a
and they're
trailer.
like a trailer to
Yeah.
the documentary, and then you can have watch the documentary or whatever. But here's the thing: I feel like the song choice, the cinematics in those intros sets you up for the story.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
No, I wouldn't. No, as a fan of your stuff, I would not do it. If you wanted to take that first minute or so as a preview trailer before you do the main release, but you'd still include it in as the introduction. Because to me, like you say, the song, the narration, or the bits of audio that you put in there of the 911 calls or the news reports or whatever, it is the introduction to the thesis. It is. If you got your essay out there, this is the opener, and like you say, it sets the mood. I used to, long ago, when I was involved with an acting troupe, we would post stories on this message board about what was going on in our care. I LARPed. Okay, I confess. I've said it before. Anyway, we'd post stories about what our characters were up to, but almost all of us would post a link to a music video to set the mood for that story. And by the way, the music you got, man, some of that's just so good. Like the one that always sticks with me is the one you used for the Richard Huckel story.
Oh yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah,
that is. Now, okay, so let's maybe segue into that a little bit.
Sure.
Because it's an interesting topic, actually, the music that I use. So back then I would have used, and I still do use sometimes, but it's rare now. Honestly, it's rarer, but I would have used Epidemic Sound for a lot of things. So I can't remember. I remembered. I can hear the song in my head. But
I know, right? It's like it's like an earworm that's still stuck in the back of my head whenever I think about that story. Yeah.
And I would use Epidemic Sound. You can get a subscription. It's like maybe $3.50 or something for the year, and then it's got like, I think it's just like a lot of artists that maybe were shelved at record labels, and the record labels take these songs and put them there, or maybe the artists take those songs and put them on there after they're done being shelved or whatever. I don't know. They've got a pile of them.
Sure.
Basically, you license it out. So those were really cool. I really enjoyed that. And then now with Suno, look, I like AI. I'm not anti-AI. You can be AI-cist if you want. You can be racist if you want. But I'm not going to be, because it's like the internet. Dude, I remember when the internet came out, right?
Oh, by the way, young whippersnappers.
And what you're seeing with AI is exactly what we saw with the internet. So many people swore they weren't going to get it. They weren't having it in their home. It was for the devil, or it was against nature, or there was all kinds of woke ways to look at this new technology and how bad it was. And it has its badness too. And I think AI is the same. But if you don't learn, if you don't partake, you won't be able to make it.
It all depends, like everything else, it all depends on the implementation.
What are you using it for? Implementation. So
how is it being used? Is it literally stealing other people's identities or work or something else? Then no. But if it is just being used as a tool and nothing else, trying to navigate the moral question on AI usage right now is still a really touchy one. And I understand. I've seen people make very good cases about stealing other people's artwork, or stealing the art style of someone else that they could otherwise be commissioned to do, and so on. It's a wild west situation right now. The legal questions are still gray area, but I take your point.
And we'll figure it out. We'll get there. I think we'll figure it out. Yeah. But the thing is I just remember, I think it was the postal workers were suing email back in the day, something like that.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Stamp makers or something, And it's like that's what we're seeing now. And I get it, dude. Look, my voice has been stolen. Yergi's voice has been stolen. Denzel Washington's voice has been stolen.
Joe Rogan face and everything. CoffeeZilla just did a whole video on it. Yeah.
Some of the ads that come up, Neil Tyson deGrasse. Well, you shouldn't blow a fan directly on your face when you're sleeping, Joe. And you're like, did he really say that? No, he didn't. It's AI. Okay.
It's
geez.
AI.
And some of them are pretty damn good at it, but I
Well,
don't use it for that.
Right.
That's not what I do. I don't go on to Suno and say, give me John Mayer's voice and a song that sounds like his song. I don't do that. I go in, I'll say dark indie pop, and I write my own lyrics. So the songs that you hear, Surviving False Alarms, those are my lyrics. I don't let AI write the lyrics. I don't like them. I don't think they sound good. I write it. And I'll take that. I build the song. There's Suno Studio now, so I can go in there. I can upload maybe a guitar part I've played, or I can generate a new one. I like to kind of feed it what I've got, my ideas, or piano, whatever it is, and it will remake that stem into a Rode or a bass or whatever I need it to do. And basically, I build in there, and then I bring it out into Cubase, the stems, and I start adding my own elements to it as well. And that's where you get the intros that you hear now in OneCrime TV. Those came from there, but it's not like I went and said, "Give me Ariana Grande." I just that's too easy. I don't like things being too easy,
Yeah.
But the lyrics are mine. Every lyric you hear is going to be mine.
Yeah,
So-
I'm never going to use I'm never going to use AI to write anything for me. Period. I never have
Never.
email or to correct something
Never.
or do anything else. It's
I don't
like,
even
if-
use it on comments.
Yeah,
It'll
if
have
there's
like
one thing if there's one
comment,
talent
I'm
I
like,
possess. Sorry, what?
Sorry, I was just saying. Even on
Yeah.
YouTube, they've got the suggested AI replies, and I'm like,
Oh no, no, never touch this. Yeah, like I said, of the one skill that I kind of sort of have is my ability to form thoughts through words. I never want to replace that or supplement that. If I make a mistake, if my stuff is garbage, it's because it's my garbage and not anybody
had-
else's. Just the way it
I've
is.
had people come on and go, this AI narrator has, stolen his script from another channel, and I'll be like, what channel are we talking about? And then they'll point to the channel, and I'll be like, okay, my video was out 4 months before theirs.
Right. Yeah. Who stole what? Yeah.
And I
channels-
don't use AI to write scripts, not even a line of it. I don't.
Oh yeah.
There's no feeding it in to correct it. No, I don't. It doesn't do a good job. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I don't need that.
No, but
maybe
there are channels that'll like steal the transcripts of other videos on these subjects and then amalgamate them into a new script and then put it out there, and then it's a new video. And when people get caught with that kind of plagiarism, it doesn't go well for them. It really doesn't.
Well, I've got one up right now that the Fallon Friedley case. It was on Law and Crime. It was, I think, the only Disturbing Truth episode that never was on the Disturbing Truth. It was only on Law and Crime. Maybe the Janiyah Russell story as well. But definitely Fallon Friedley's case was only on Law and Crime. And Crime Explorer, I think it is the name of the channel, totally stole my script. And like they steal my footage too, so like and look, you can go, well, that's public information. You can't steal interrogation footage. It's public knowledge and you got it. And it's like, yeah, but you pay a lot for those, number one.
Yes.
And number
right.
two, it's not so much about the paying for it. It's the subtitles. Like you mentioned AI earlier.
Yes.
Dude, I am you might get some misspellings or typos in my subtitles, but dude, I guarantee you, go listen to the house on Elmhurst Road. I think that's the biggest one on my channel. The guy, the suspect stutters.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how long subtitles took for me to go through those interrogation footage and body cams? Because it was Minnesota, I think. So they blur faces on body cams. And I'm like, oh, dude, if you don't have subtitles, those things aren't even worth having.
I cannot. One of the unsung arts of true crime that I appreciate more than anything else is subtitles. I have a few videos on my channel. I did a series on tapes from Jonestown, and in doing those videos, I had to transcribe or reinterpret an existing transcription because they got it wrong. And then I had to do those subtitles by hand in like this archaic video creation software that I had. And it is so tedious and so taxing on the brain to do that whenever I see subtitles on a video, especially a true crime one, until relatively recently, I was like, nobody notices those things, but that is effort. That is time
Yep.
and dedication to do that, especially when you're transcribing, as you say, something that is practically unintelligible.
Mhm.
Now, with the availability of AI subtitles, it's like, okay, did anybody put any effort into this, or is it just being pumped out there? And so it's like a lost art. Like, the kids today don't know how good they've got it, man. I remember when I had to do this manually. Like,
100%. Well, that's right. And look, I use DaVinci Resolve. I love it. DaVinci Resolve Studio is fantastic, and it's got AI subtitles, and they're very handy. Okay, so
Sure.
pardon me. They're very handy in the sense that they lay out the parts. So only the parts are not right. Every single subtitle I have to edit and move around because I like the line to appear on the screen whole. I don't. It breaks it up in weird places, or it's not in time and stuff. But it's just nice to put those pieces out there that I can edit. But for the Elmhurst case, for instance, I spent 3 weeks on subtitles.
Oh,
And
yeah,
that's
like I say,
with AI subs.
like
And
I feel like whenever I see it, I
one
just think back to my efforts in doing it, and I immediately feel a pang of sympathy for anybody who's doing that. And boy, I hit a nerve in the chat. Subtitles are the worst. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm Danny the girl. I'll do your subtitles, sir. Kathy
Danny.
Ann's is 100%.
You don't understand, Danny. It's so.
It is a pain. Miranda Stone, whenever I do subtitles, I question my hold of my own language. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a big one. I did all the subtitles on the Fidel Lopez case.
Yeah. Oh
back in
man.
Disturbing Truth. So there was no AI subtitles then. I did them all.
And having to go through all that and like, I mean, it's one thing to listen to someone, but then have to it's almost like you're double experiencing the horror of having to go through those details again by typing them out.
And dude, well, here's the thing, right? It's funny you say that because part of me loves subtitles because of that.
Okay.
I think going through the subtitles, everything sinks in because like when you write it down, it's like so you're writing it down, you're typing it up.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
And dude, it really everything sticks with you so much more.
Yeah, because I guess otherwise it kind of goes over your head. But when you have to actually get into the intricate details as you're typing, okay.
And in interrogation videos, it's even better because sometimes you didn't hear what that person said under someone else shouting. And like the Shadrach Ward case was like my bully from high school where he murdered his wife. That was one where there was so much going on, and it was like being able to hear and know what was being said really helps. The Elmhurst case, like once again, like I said, there's a lot that you wouldn't have caught if you didn't see it on the screen. And there's things I realized, he said this and then he said that, and if it was just interrogation, being played, then I probably wouldn't have caught that. But because I subtitled it and hold on, didn't he say? And those subtitles matter too, because in DaVinci it scripts it out so that you can like search it by keyword and hey, didn't he say, and you type it in and it takes you to the part, and so it's good. But people think like with subtitles, I've seen comments, people go, just put them into AI. No, dude, it's maybe if it's a president speaking or over a proper microphone, but then again, why would you need AI? Or why would you need subtitles? But see, when it's an interrogation footage, you can't trust it.
No, not without those Jonestown tapes. I would have to re-listen to the same portion 5 or 6 times and be like, because I mean, sometimes it's the pronunciation, so you have to use context clues. You get to really listen, and even if there were transcripts that I could refer to, I would find glaring errors in the official transcripts in some places. It was like, that's not what the guy said. He used this word, he used that word. And it is so painstaking and arduous. And so, like when I know, like when it's like you or Matt Orchard or Stay Awake, when I know that someone has actually created those subtitles, like I say, most people wouldn't even notice it, just part of the landscape. When I see those things, I think to myself, I'm right there. I got you right there.
That's right.
Sympathies.
What's so funny? I connected this a while back. I think with the Elmhurst case. Pardon me, I'm getting over a little cold the past week.
Fine.
I had a comment that was like, they said, how you can see like where else they've commented on the channel, how many comments on the channel, it's got that filter. I noticed this user and they were annoyed, they were livid that I had misspelled something in the subtitles. They were livid,
Oh, sure.
you know, and they're like, that's ridiculous today that with the amount of technology, something like this. It was ridiculous today with the amount of technology that you can't even get basic subtitles right without misspelling them. And it's like, well, I think the part they were even talking about is like, well, okay, so you're misconstruing it because it's not even a misspelling, it's just a typo. I was spelling cat and I missed the A, or I
Right.
spelled it CTA, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a typo. That's not even, you know, technically a misspelling, you know. That's just a typo. So it was something like that, but they harped on to the with all the technology and AI, you can still manage to get basic subtitles done. Get basic subtitles wrong. Just run it through an AI app if you have to, for crying out loud. They were so annoyed about it, and I would just thought, I recognize the name, and I clicked on the channel like to show me similar comments, and I found another part where they were annoyed because AI was used on a part. It's unethical.
You can't win.
AI, and I thought,
you can't win.
First, I don't even know why you're still here. You know?
Yeah. No, the most grief I got on a video, one of my 3 true crime videos, the most grief I got on one is because it wasn't a subtitle thing. I mispronounced a city name in Canada.
Oh.
Like I didn't know how to say it. It's one of those names that's probably derived from some native word or something. And I gave it my best shot based on the text that I had. And man, I got so much grief. It's like, it's not that, it's this. Like,
yeah.
What do you want for you? Just be real quick before we move on here. We're getting close to the end. Harley Dead, thank you again so much. I've been trying to be Mr. Black's editor for a while now. He keeps telling me he's good at what I should do, he's good and I should just do what I do best. Sit here and look pretty.
Yeah.
You know, I got to say, this episode of Living on Borrowed Crime is brought to you by Harley Dad. Harley Dad. When you only have one leg to stand on, think Harley Dad.
Yeah.
Thank you, Harley Dad, so much.
He's not my sidekick. He's my kickstand.
Oh! Wait. I got something for that. I'm prepared. I'm prepared with these things occasionally.
Nice.
I'm something of a streamer.
Whoa. I think I have my own.
Oh, do you? Okay.
There we go.
There you go. It did.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
You know, because if it hadn't.
Yeah, I only have a few stingers in the audio sense, but I got a few video ones. But I got a little library over here. Thank you, StreamYard, for giving me a library of things I can throw at people. But they're all inside jokes mostly. So are you going to start a live stream show yourself? You can start doing true crime coverage on live streams once you get the hang of this?
You know what? I'm not very good at it. That's
what practice is for.
I'll do a live stream every once in a while. But when I do them, maybe interviewing people or spending a bit of time with the audience, some things like that. I almost missed the live streams I used to do where it was like audio only and played a bit of music, had a laugh, and it was like almost not even true crime oriented. Because for me, I feel like with true crime, I need to like sit down and produce it. Like I need to put it together. I need to paint the picture. It's like I'm not a quick draw sketcher. I need to look at the canvas for a while.
Well, you can do like hangout like members only hangout streams or something that's just sort of casual.
Well, see, I used to do that with like the Patreons and the Discord. And sometimes in Discord we used to do like game night, which was great. We would play like Jackbox games, you know. Everybody uses their phone and you kind of key in. Those were fun. But then we would have done like a live stream a couple times a year where I had like the piano on and the guitars out and it was just a laugh, you know. It was not really anything to do with true crime. But like you said, yeah, that was like most of the time like a members only thing. And I think I might start doing a little bit more of those again. My Discord gets dead at times, you know. Whenever I'm deep in a case, it's like,
right,
I got to remember to go in there and show my face, you know.
I did have one before we get to. I want to give some time to questions if people in the audience have any direct questions for anything. I did want to find out if you're able to talk about it. I don't know. Is there an update on the Runaway Train project?
Sure. Yeah, of course. So when it comes to the production that I think will probably be on Netflix, it's that. So
okay.
Will it be Netflix? I don't know. So basically what I can say now is that in December or November, In December or November, we shot a sizzler. So basically, that is kind of a trailer idea put together.
It's not a steakhouse.
Yeah, yeah. Medium rare. And we shot it and they edited it all together. And last I heard was this month it goes to buyers. So once buyers become involved, it's sort of bidded on, I guess. So my understanding is it's going to be Netflix, it's Amazon, ID, something like that. Somewhere in there, one of those are going to take it. But the director that is on the project is Ursula McFarlane. So she's quite a big director. She's from the UK. She did like the Anna Nicole Smith documentary and a bunch of other ones.
Okay.
She's really cool, sweetheart, really, really cool. The whole team is, honestly. And it's in partnership with Next of Kin and Everwonder. So Everwonder, they do a lot of sort of Netflixy type of stuff as well. I think they even did like the docu-series building up to the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. So they big team, good team, everybody, the editor, all of them. The band is involved as well. So while I was doing the sizzler, I was sitting here. We shot it here. I still had the desk, and we used my camera, and they were viewing remotely, and we just shot it all and went through everything we needed to do. And they were just all watching remotely. So it was like the band's manager, the director, the producer, the editor, my contact that is sort of the project organizer. And originally, so the original idea was that I kind of wouldn't be in it. I would be like part of the team. I would go and be part of the team. But then I don't know how that changed, but now I'm in it. I'm in it for the,
and for those that, and I brought it up kind of abstractly, but for those who don't know, what's the gist of the project?
Okay, so in the 90s, there's a song called Runaway Train. It's by Soul Asylum. Sometimes I say Collective Soul, and that's wrong. That's not right.
Yeah,
they don't identify
completely different styles there.
They identify as Soul Asylum. And great band, great song. But in the song, I grew up, I was a young boy, and in the song it shows pictures of actual missing children. So these were ones that were still missing. And I think in America, in all the different versions of the video, depending on the location the video was released in, it would be different kids.
Right.
I think in total there were 36 kids. Now today there are still 11 missing. So I always wondered what happened to these kids, and I started working on a project for it. I ended up coming in contact with the band's manager because I wanted to make my own rendition of the Runaway Train song on piano and use it as my intro. And when I got to telling him the information I had gathered and who I'd spoken to, and I'd gotten pretty deep in my research, he was like, "Can I connect you with the guys that are handling our documentary? Maybe we can work together." And I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Because I have like some pretty good assets and relationships with people close to the cases. I ended up connecting with them. We agreed to do some work together. Next thing I know, I was with Law and Crime, and I couldn't do anything. 2 years passed. They reached back out again, literally about the week that my contract was up, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good to go." And we started working on it again. So now it is a much bigger outfit than before. It was originally thought it was just going to be like a feature presentation, like a movie, and now it's like pretty sure it's going to be a mini series. I don't think we could fit everything in. Wow. But the next updates will be, we'll get a buyer. We'll be one of the big streaming companies, and then we'll have the money, because there is an X marks the spot where I believe one, if not two, of the victims are buried, and we want to dig that up. So when we get to that part, I will be flying out, and there will be a lot of filming and stuff done to hopefully, put this girl to rest, and maybe even her boyfriend. So, but for me, it's not 11 kids missing, it's 12, because the boyfriend, he was 17, but he was never shown in the music video as a missing kid, but he went missing with the girl. So I kind of count him in it too. And if you were to do a remake of the video or re-release the video, I would think he should be added into it as well, because
we got a celebrity in the chat. Misery Machine. Real happy to see Mr. Black rolling with the punches in the face of YouTube's ever-changing garbage and the overall inhospitable landscape of true crime. You both do incredible things for the genre. Oh, well. Don't look at me. Look at Mr. Black.
I love those, Mr.
Black. By the way, guys, if you have any questions for Mr. Black in the last few minutes here before we start winding down, put them in the chat. And just so I can distinguish a question for Mr. Black from something else you guys might be talking about, put 2 or 3 question marks at the end. That gives me a visual cue that it's for him. Because I know that my audience loves to talk amongst themselves while the stream's going on. With that, you got any projects or videos upcoming you'd like to plug before we go? Or any channels you think need some more love out there?
I just don't have... Do you know what I do? I mean, as far as...
I have an inkling, yeah.
I'm Chandler from Friends. Nobody knows what I do. I consume my content at night, and I
you creature. You're a vampire.
Dracula, right?
You're a ghoul. Okay.
I consume my content at night as I go to bed with headphones on, and I mostly listen to Carl Jung psychology. Like, really, this is
I believe you.
Making me feel better at night. So
that's an uplifting thing.
I listen to the old Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington podcasts from like 2000.
Those are funny.
God, I love them. I mean, like, they just don't get old. There was no censoring. There was no...
Oh, man. Remember the days? Oh, the good old days.
Great. So I listen to that stuff, and that kind of picks my mood up. So recommending a channel, I should know a channel to recommend.
It's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I haven't been watching any. I really haven't.
Yeah.
I've been working. As far as me, the Hannah Kendrick case is coming, and what's going to be interesting about this case is that this is the woman who was 20 years ago. Her husband poured gasoline on her in her bed and lit her on fire.
Hey.
Yeah, and he gets out this year, so that's why this is important. So, I was going to send a videographer to Hannah to video her, and now what we've done is it was just so much cheaper. It was like $600 a day for a videographer, so it's so much cheaper to rent the equipment from a local place that would, rent out the same camera I use, and her daughter is going to help film it, and I'm going to be on remote showing how to set the settings and get it set up, and I've sent out lights and a tripod and a little DJI mic. So we're actually going to record her part, and she's going to be on it. She's actually going to be in the video. So it's going to be interesting to tell her story, because even though that's such a horrible thing that happened to her, it's not all she's gone through. And I can't even cover all she's gone through, but she's been through a lot. So that's going to be a really interesting one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that out.
Samantha G17, how often do you find yourself needing a mental break from all of the interviews you do?
Every single video, I need to have a wake for that case, I guess, something like that. So I decompress. I do a
mental cleanse.
But I don't have nightmares, and I don't have like I don't know. I'm not saying that's like, I'm Superman or I'm super strong in the mind, but I think I just have a really good environment around me as far as my missus and my son and her family. And we live in Latvia in a little village, and there's like all the bad news you can think of. It doesn't really get here. It's like we don't have it here like it is around the world. So decompressing is a lot easier. When I sold The Disturbing Truth, half the money went into building a gym next to the studio, and I train with 3 or 4 guys in this town because there is no gym here for 15 miles in each direction. There's no gym. So I have a gym, and those guys come with me, and we train, and we do it 3 days a week. We don't miss days unless we physically can't go. And I think all those things keep my mind clear. I really do. If I didn't go to the gym, if I didn't have a good home environment to be around, a beautiful little boy, lovely wife with lovely in-laws, and peaceful region I live in, then I think it would be a lot harder. And because of that, it's easier to, get to the weekend, breathe, come back in, right. What are we subtitling next?
Harley Dad, when can I interview you, Mr. Black?
Harley Dad, I think the same problem that Harley and I have is the same problem that you and I have, and that's that we are literally on opposite sides
time
of the world.
zones. Yep.
Yeah. We're like 11-hour difference or something right now, I think,
9 hours. And then, and with, it's the same problem I've had with Dave's Lemonade and Mad Orchard. They're in Australia. They're like 17 hours ahead. Or it's just, it's always the time zones, man.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's the only issue. But yeah, I would like to. I just said to Harley the other day that we need to make that happen. Yeah, it would be cool.
I'm Danny the girl. Can you say my name again? Well,
okay,
I don't know whether you're talking to me or you or Mr. Black, but I've already done it. So go ahead, Mr. Black.
Are you sure it's not I'm Dan, he girl?
I'm happy to be corrected.
I just
that's the case.
That we're getting it right. What do you identify as? So
in what syntax do you exist?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what's going on. There's a lot. I have a lot of cases stacked up. I get a lot of emails from people wanting me to cover specific cases, but my cases are they take so long sometimes, Sure. But biggest decompression would have definitely been surviving false alarms, and I didn't anticipate it to be like that, but it was.
Miranda Stone, do you ever get back to the States for true crime meets? You ever go to conventions or anything yet?
No, and I don't think I ever will.
Why? Why are you so antisocial, Mr. Black?
It's not the people. Definitely not that. They're cool.
Yeah.
I have definitely upset a couple bad people. And some of it, so there's a strange phenomenon that has happened between myself and true crime. So I've always resonated with victims and they've always sort of reached out to me. But what I've noticed over the past few years is that not just them, for some reason, some of these like murderers, it's no easier way to say it.
Yeah.
For some reason, they want to have a conversation with me.
For some reason.
A few of them,
yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time it happened, it was a girl from the UK, a woman from the UK. She'd gone to jail because her and her husband had beaten a guy outside the tube station, the train station. And while her husband was like beating this guy up, it was her ex. But her husband was beating him up. She was screaming that the guy was a PDF file.
Yes.
And to kill him. And the husband did. So, but my understanding is that he wasn't that. I don't know. I don't know the full case. I know what she's told me. My understanding is that he wasn't that, but or maybe he was. I don't know. But what was evident in the case was that was not the reason that she wanted him dead. She just, so she did I think she did what was considered life at the time and like studied in prison. But when she got out, she was reaching out to me for quite a lot because she wanted to know that she thought if anybody could tell her, I could, if she was a monster. And I was just like,
I'm not a psychoanalyst. Like,
yeah, I'm not like the judge here,
yeah.
I know what a monster is, but is it? I don't know. So, and then there's obviously the Chevion Miller case with the Janiyah Russell case, and also now Gabriel Walton. That was an interesting one. So I have a video on my channel called Behind the Smile. And it's Gabriel Walton is who it's focused on. So he's in prison for this murder, and it is an interesting one, and it is an interesting one because Gabriel Walton definitely was a bad guy, but the guy he killed was also a bad guy and an SA offender of children, his own daughter, and now that's not saying you can have a crocodile and an alligator in the same place.
Yeah, it's so, okay. A bad guy kills a bad guy. Like
yeah, the trash took itself out really. But so I get this email one day, and and it's like from some random name. And it's like, well, if you had Gabriel's mother's number, why didn't you call her and hear their side before you published your video about Gabriel Walton? And I was like, I didn't have Gabriel's mother's number. And also, you know, I have my certain feelings about that anyway, because she, it's a deep rabbit hole anyway.
Yeah.
But I said I didn't really want to talk to her, basically.
No.
It was to do with her husband, who's also now in prison for life.
Great.
And they never wrote back. And then the next day, I get a request from an inmate to respond via email, and it's Gabriel Walton. And I'm like, whoa. So I start writing back and forth with this murderer, and he's like, I want to tell my side of the story, and I want to do that with you, and I feel like people can make up their mind about how they feel about me, but I would like to tell my side. And I thought in this case, like, he does have a point.
Mm-hmm.
He does have a point considering who he killed.
Yeah.
He really does. But I don't think it will mean that he's a good guy, but it would mean that, you know, maybe it was more self-defense than it was murder, you know, or at best manslaughter, maybe something. Anyway, I thought it would be interesting, and I believe, he's held. So the idea is now, working with the same company that I'm working with the Runaway Train with, we're trying to figure out how to fund it so I can go to the prison with cameras and lights and actually interview this guy and sort of recreate the whole story, but also include his interview.
Wow.
You've seen Piers Morgan do some kind of stuff like this, something similar.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm still in contact with him, but look, this by no means I'm friends or have sympathy for these people.
Yeah.
I'm fairly, you know, educated on how to establish rapport and
also keep a certain amount of insulation between you and your subject, and also, you know, hopefully broadcast that to your audience as well, so they don't think there's something fishy going on.
Yep.
That is a wire that you have to tread very carefully, especially these days with people jumping to conclusions.
Well, look, some people weren't happy that I had the West Side school shooter on the Surviving False Alarms video, but this guy hadn't given a public interview in 30 years or 28 years. He refused to talk to everybody. He didn't want to talk to anyone. So his depositions were it. And now he's 41. He was 13 when he did the crime. Now he's 41. He's free. He's the only free school shooter in America. The other one, you know, we know what happened to him. But so I was able to, he was hard enough to find, but I was able to track him down. Have various ways of kind of doing that if I have enough info. And I was able to find him, you know, a completely different identity and all that. And he, for whatever reason, agreed to give me the interview, and he's never given one to anyone. So I included that in the end of Surviving False Alarms. Some people weren't happy about that. They found it as giving him a platform, but he wasn't paid. He's legally not allowed to get paid for any thing he discloses in regard to West Side, and I didn't offer to pay him at all anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why, but for some reason they seem to like to talk to me. But I'm worried. Okay, so I'm worried that one day this would translate into me being like attacked at one of these conventions or something.
Okay.
You know.
Couple more questions, and then I think we'll be through here. Harley Dad, once again, thank you, Harley Dad. If you weren't doing true crime or Cringe Against Humanity, what other genre do you think you would be doing, or would you even be doing YouTube?
Well, yeah, I actually do another genre. I think I would do. Something ranty. So, whether if I didn't do true crime and I didn't do sort of the meditation, you know, channel that I have, it's got like 54,000 subscribers. That was actually before The Disturbing Truth. You know what? I probably would rewind and go right back to Mr. Black Pasta to the.
You know, it's funny you say that, because one of the last questions here: what's the background on Creepy Black Pasta? Was that your start?
Mr. Black Pasta. So that's an interesting story. So Mr. Black Pasta started because I had found Let's Read, and King Spook. So they narrated creepypastas and true scary stories. And I was just, they were true stories I was listening to. It wasn't even the creepypastas at the start. So I'd found these true stories, King Spook and Let's Read, and I was listening to them. And I would use headphones to listen and like do the housework, like clean dishes, whatever. And one day my wife came home and my headphones had died, and I was just playing it off of the hi-fi stereo system from the phone. And my hands were wet, and I was, she came in and she was carrying groceries in and out from the car, and I was kind of embarrassed because like she'd caught me. You hear me listening to my guilty pleasure, these weird stories that for some reason they should be cringy, but for some reason are totally captivating. And once she finished with the groceries, she was like silent the whole time. She didn't sort of interrupt. She was trying to be, sweet and polite. And then when she was done, it finished and she was like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like, I explained it to her, and I was like, it's pretty cool, right? There's like something in it. It's like something about it, They were just stories that had been submitted, to these creators. And she was like, "Yeah, it's not bad." She was like, "But I feel," so at the time I had like a little makeshift studio in a room upstairs, but I'd been very depressed. I had vocal problems and stuff like that. And I've been very depressed for a few months, and I don't think I'd even gone in the studio for 4 or 5 months. And she was like, well, she's like, "I don't know." She was like, "I just feel like you've got a good voice." She was like, "I feel like you could go up there in that studio and put something together like that would be, really good. So I think it's something you could do. You could probably do it a little better. If I was listening, I would want to hear like the sound effects and all that." And she's like, "I think you could probably do it." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah. So that week I put out my first 2, that was
so
like,
your muse.
Yeah, she's really good like that. She comes up with stuff that like she doesn't even realize that she's, she is the epiphany. But yeah, that's how that started. And it was, purely entertainment based horror. Came from there. And then at some point I was like, I'd really like to move in. I feel more passionate about true crime, I really like to move into that. And I did. But I think I might go back to it. I'm narrating an audiobook at the minute for Darkness Prevails, the Eerie Cast podcast network. It's a full novel, like 360 pages, and I'm narrating it.
Dang.
So yeah, trying to just pop out a couple chapters a day, and then got sick, and that kind of slows it down. So I think I would probably go back to, the Mr. Black Pasta stuff and try and make a real go at it, especially now considering that, you can use 11 labs to come up with characters that you can use in them. And that's, how helpful that would have been, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you can do these things, and like sound effects. I use Soundly for my sound effects. So it's basically a cataloging program for your sound effects, but it has its own as well. And they're just so intuitive how you drag them in and search for them. And yeah, if all that stuff was available, I might not have ever moved into true crime, but
Kid in the candy store.
Yeah, big time.
Well, guys, this is going to bring us about to the end. Anything else you'd like to plug or promote before we wrap up?
No, not really. Not so far. Keep an eye on the channel. More stories coming out. Getting right back to what I do, the way I do it.
Yeah. All the particulars for Mr. Black are in the description, guys. YouTube link, Facebook. I think I got everything on there except for the Discord site. I don't have the address for the Discord server. So if some enterprising individual wants to put that in the chat, or I'll find it elsewise and add it to the description later.
So my Discord server is via Patreon or invite only. So
my apologies.
That's how we kind of we canvass for. We make sure you're 18. We don't want minors in our Discord. We're not Plagued Moth. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
I have a similar process for my Discord server, which I will showcase now. So everybody, on the off chance you're not a part of my Discord server, well, a link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. If you'd like to join, you just have to click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you have to say the secret word. The secret word tells me you actually watch the stream, are not a bot, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is what, Mr. Black?
What, Mr. Black?
There you go. Just say, hello, what, Mr. Black? And I'll know that you watched this show. And another personal plug. In about 5 hours, no, 4 hours and 15 minutes will be my weekly episode of TED Excellence, where I take a look at an off-brand TED Talk for education and enlightenment. And this week, not out of any plan or anything, because I try to cover other subjects, but lo and behold, it'll be someone trying to convince us that the backlash against DEI is temporary and the future is looking bright. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll find out together. But I want to thank Mr. Black for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to have a chance to talk to you again. We don't get to do this enough. And I gotta figure out something to do with this series, because I still love it when I get the chance to do it, but real life has just kept hammering into my time lately.
Yeah, you're good at it too.
Oh, I appreciate that. And again, guys, if there is a content creator out there that you appreciate, whether it's me, whether it's Mr. Black, or anybody else, especially the smaller channels, if you like them, share their stuff out. Let people know that they exist, because YouTube doesn't do many favors to content creators out there, even those that put effort into their work. And so oftentimes you guys are the best algorithm. And,
could I jump on the back of that right quick? Sorry to interrupt you. Most people probably don't do that. But if you are a content creator, all hope is not lost, especially if you're struggling with YouTube. I started uploading to Spotify creators, or Spotify creators. Just look it up. I'm at my threshold within, I guess, a month, and they're paying. And my Surviving False Alarms documentary is doing better on Spotify than it's doing on YouTube. It's got more views, and it's just, I don't have to censor anything.
Good.
It's pretty good. So far, it's good, and I think it's a good contender to take over YouTube. It's pretty cool. And most of your revenue comes from premium subscription. About 10% comes from ads. So absolutely, if you're thinking about it, do not neglect Spotify. Go to Spotify creators and sign up there.
I'll have to, I haven't even tried that. Oh, and before we split, Misery Machine, Scribe, more than willing to help you brainstorm or recruit people who are interested, and let me know. Drewby, I will contact you soon. After the events of the last several months in my life, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things, and so this is one way to do it. But either way, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or, again, guys, at the top of the chat box, a link to the National Center for Victims of Crime. Please take a look at that. Thank you so much for your generosity. Very much appreciate it. Elsewise, guys, check out Surviving False Alarms over on OneCrimeTV. Link to the YouTube channels in the description below, or over on Spotify. That helps too. It's as much of an in-depth document on the event as you could possibly ask for. Probably the most thorough one that I've ever seen or heard about. And all credit to Mr. Black on this achievement and effort on his part. Really appreciate it. So with that, everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday. Hope you have a good Friday ahead of you and weekend as well. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And we will see you on the next one. Take care and bye-bye. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh. And Harley Dad, coming in the clutch, Mr. Black rocks.
That's the donations coming back in the way of our direction.
Yes, this episode of Living on Borrowed Crime, sponsored by Harley Dad. Thank you so much, Harley Dad. And with that, everybody, take care.